Hi, I'm Revis, and today I am sharing with you all a Supergiant Ajax list. I know it's been a while since I've posted anything on the YouTube channel, but I finally got. I've not been playing a lot recently outside of the Creator Gauntlet that I played in last weekend, and I placed top 4 in. For the second round of that, I actually used this list with Lizard coming in and out in the Shadow King slot to do a lot of the heavy lifting. The round 2, if you watch the Gauntlet, was like a ladder based portion, so I was using this to steal a lot of cubes. The idea was I was targeting the Agent Venom Cosmo list with like the Iron Man Claw kind of stuff. With this, because the Ajax stuff does really well into it. You have like US Agent Man things that do a ton of power in the Iron Man lane and the non-Iron Man lanes. You have Echo as well, and Negasonic, which kind of do a similar thing of just kind of shutting off a lot of their big plays. That being said, I shared this list after that event, and a lot of people were having really good success on ladder. One player I know who's a super giant fanatic in the top 100, I think climbed 300 SP with this. I've been doing well with the list myself when I get the time to play, so that's why I'm showing this gameplay here. But I'll briefly talk about some of the strategy with this list, overall strategy, as well as some of the unique quirks I think will be very useful. I really wanted to get this out as soon as possible because if you're not aware, this week's Spotlight caches include Supergiant's first time she's been in Spotlight caches for a while, and it also includes Anti-Venom, which I think has really good synergy with the Ajax package. I don't think you'll run them both together because they're both 4 costs that you kind of want to play on turn 4. And right, if you play Supergiant, you can't play Anti-Venom after. But Anti-Venom does have really good synergy with both Shadow King and Luke Cage and running tech cards in general, so I think it will fit into an Ajax style package. What that will look like exactly, I'm not 100% sure yet. And I do think Supergiant is a really good tech option. I think it's very underplayed right now, mainly because not many people own Supergiant. And the people that do own it might not know a few of these interactions I'm going to briefly talk about before letting you look at the games, but I think they're very important, both from an understanding Supergiant perspective and an understanding this deck and using Supergiant in this deck perspective. So yeah, so that being said, general game plan, we're using our tech cards and our Ajax package to provide us power, right? So we have Bob, we have Agent, US Agent, Cage, Man-Thing, and Ajax alongside Hazmat are basically lane winning stuff, right? Your Man-Thing is a ton of power in a lane. You put Man-Thing, Cage in a lane, and they have to put a big card there. Ajax, right, is 15 plus power. Bob is pretty crucial for being 1/5 that you can fit alongside your tech cards like Hazmat, Shadow King, and those are like your power cards, right? You don't have Bob, you can replace it with a different 1-drop. Silver Sable was what I was saying. For a lot of people, you can try and find something similar to that. And then, so you have those, right? Yeah, and then you have your Supergiant / tech card package, which is your Echo, your Daredevil, your Daredevil Supergiant, your Shadow King, your Negasonic, and your Cosmo. These, you're pretty much like, you'll see a lot. I don't know if in these games, but if you watch my Gauntlet games especially, you'll see I hold Echo a lot for turns that I will expect to pop her off, or for after the Supergiant turns. Right, I pretty much want to guarantee that I can hit her off. But these are cards, right? Echo, Shadow King, Cosmo, Negasonic. Unless you know you're going to hit something good, right? So your opponent's trying to set up a Cosmo lane, or maybe there's a Kamarta on the board. Or not Cosmo lane, your opponent's trying to set up a Wong lane. That's right, you'd want to play it there. Otherwise, you want to hold this likely for the final turn to lock your opponent out, right? Similarly, Negasonic, you want to hit something good. You don't want to play her on turn 3 unless you really have nothing to do. But like, I'd rather play Daredevil, even Bob, by himself on turn 3. Than just play empty Negasonic. Right, so these are our tech cards that we're trying to play generally after the after the Supergiant. Right, so when you play Supergiant, all the cards you and your opponent play next turn are going to be played face down, and they're going to reveal after your turn 6 cards. So some important things to note about that is that the order those cards are revealed in will be determined on who has priority on turn 6. Right, so what this means is that if you have priority on turn 5, you play your cards face down. Right, and if you have priority turn 6, you play your cards face down. Next, on the final turn, right, you'll play your cards. They'll flip up first, and then your opponent's cards will flip up, and then your Supergiant cards will flip up, and then their Supergiant cards will flip up. Right, so that will be the order. It will be kind of like 4 flips back and forth. It's almost like, right, it's exactly like if you were to play behind Invisible Woman in every lane or Dark Dimension, right? Important things, right, to note here, right, is that if priority changes, and you'll notice this especially if you have Bob move on turn 5. So right, let's say you have a play that's going to win when you're looking at the Daredevil Supergiant turn, you snap, right? If Bob moves and you somehow lose or gain priority, Mojo World will also change priority if one or you guys play more cards than the other and it flips. Then, right, it will be determined on who has priority on turn 6. So do remember that, because that can mess people up, for sure. But yeah, so what this allows you to do, right? So Daredevil, very useful, buffed by 1 power. Very solid because you do generally want to fight for priority, but that being said, you don't need it if you have Supergiant. That's why Supergiant is so useful. I'll mention that in a second. But it lets you see those face down cards, and basically I almost play this deck like I would play a Sarah tech deck, except instead of playing Sarah on 5 and then doing all your tech cards on turn 6, you're doing tech cards on turns, you're playing Supergiant on 4, and then you're doing tech cards on 5 and 6. Right, tech and power cards, kind of like how you'd play like the Monkey, Mysterio, Shadow King, Killmonger, kind of Sarah stuff. So yeah, so Supergiant, right? You play Supergiant. With Daredevil, you can see their cards. They can't see yours. What you can do is you can hide power cards in certain lanes that maybe they won't expect it. Important thing to do is if you don't have Prio and you play Supergiant, right? Right, and you see maybe they play like an Iron Man down, right, under the Supergiant turn. That's their turn 5 play, right? Iron Man. You don't have Prio though, right? What you can do is you can play Negasonic or Echo on turn 6, and those cards will hit the Supergiant cards, right? But if you do it on turn 5, since you don't have Prio, they're gonna flip first, and then your cards will flip. So remember that. So if you want to hit their Supergiant cards with cards like Cosmo, with cards like Negasonic, Echo, you need to play it on turn 6 to hit the Supergiant cards, right? And this basically like can guarantee that you get like really good Negasonic value, really good Echo value, really good Cosmo value. Not necessarily Cosmo value, right? Because Cosmo is a reusable effect, but like Negasonic especially is super useful when you know it's guaranteed to hit that, right? They can't play something on turn 6 that will trigger it by accident, right? They can't play like a Mysterio and all of a sudden triggers it. So yeah, keep that and aware. So right, Negasonic Echo, really good versus the Agent Venom deck. You want to hold that to try and kill their big cards. Negasonic, really good versus any deck that you generally want Shang-Chi against, right? So stuff like Shuri, I don't know, random stuff, it really helps versus. Shadow King, Cosmo are your premier like bounce tools, as well as Man-Thing being like, right, just a solo lane win versus bounce. Cosmo helping you a lot to prevent them from bouncing. Supergiant also helps with this because, right, Supergiant stops a lot of their potential output range, as far as like, oh, well now they have to they can't bounce anymore, right? So it does reduce that potential big swings depending on what version of the deck they're playing. But yeah, feel free to shoot any questions in the comments. I think other than that, like as long as you look at it as like a Stereotech list and you remember how the priority works, really good card to pick up, really underrated. I think this is the best version of Supergiant that's ever existed. And those aren't even my words, those are the Supergiant players' words that I mentioned before, because you do have just like the strength of the Ajax list, right? And then these tech cards just fit really well, help you in a lot of the matchups that the deck can struggle in, like bounce, right? Like some of these like off meta stuff that maybe you can't deal with normally. And then Echo, Negasonic are just so good right now, honestly. So yeah, take a crack at the list. Let me know how it goes. Feel free to shoot any questions below, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace. He gives them a target for Scream, but that's fine. The New York is super annoying here. They've got New York twice. Otherwise, the locations are okay. Hate playing this out so early. We're just gonna play Cage. It's a man thing there. Could be Negasonic now. Let's do this. This shrug, it's whatever. Stick around. I'm not a fan of where it landed. It's kind of mid now. Which means I lose if they play shrug here. Actually, wish I hit the man thing over. Arrow. They have priority, so they're moving the man thing over. So I need to think about Jeff here is the issue, right? Like this. This so I can have priority to Negasonic. So this will pull man thing. The issue is, can I just beat the Craven stuff moving over? Go to 16, they can add 12 very easily. Yeah, I just lose to them moving the Craven over in the Scream. But it's a free stay. Would I read 6 to 6 or 6 to 7? Oh, it's not a free stay. This beats anything that's not them moving over, but they always move over it.
Escaped.
There, it was kind of annoying there. So at least if we had something mid, like they couldn't move the Scream over, or like they would have to actually sacrifice something to move it over. I mean, we have Cage, but still, I feel like we've just been getting kind of nut draws. It's fine because we have Cage, like the thing doesn't matter. Star doesn't matter. One other annoying thing is I don't have energy here. Bob and Shadow King. Hopefully those will be my last two and not Man-Thing. Oh, well, not Man-Thing's actually pretty good. Stacking mid. Green, Spider-Man. Spider-Man flips up at the end of the game, worth noting. I mean, I can win mid with just what, Cosmo plus something? How much are they gonna have there? They're gonna have 8 plus 5, 13. It's gonna be like this, Cosmo, Hazmat, Bob, I think. We should win. So they're gonna be at 8 here, and then if they Magneto here, I think this is the play. If they Magneto here, we'll be at 10. They try and Magneto here, I win here. Gonna be 10 plus 4 at least. 17. Magneto, Cannonball. They lose harder this way.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Neighborhood Spider who?
Victory.
Magneto would pull the Cosmo. No, because they had priority. So Magneto was only gonna pull what's currently flipped up, right? Supergiant only worked on turn 5. Okay, so my cards were flipping up last. I played Cosmo on the last turn. Right, so technically I couldn't Cosmo anything except for the face down cards. Which is like huge reason why Supergiant is so good, right? So you have Negasonic, Cosmo, Echo, and even if you fall behind on priority, you can still use them if you had your Supergiant set up. You can use them on their turn 5 plays. And then they made it a 2-2. If I could be wrong. Bifrost. I'm not tempoing it as much as cool as that would be. No. I like that card. I'll tempo this. We need our cage, man. Let's bounce. Okay, bounce can be a little bit tricky. If it's the werewolf version, though, it would be okay. I need to get my cage, though. I'm just playing this here. Get a 7 power pig. Kind of don't want to, because usually this deck is running Shadow King. I think I'm just doing this, and then I'm dropping Ajax mid. Yeah, what's up, Phaser? Def to C2, yeah, C2 is kind of dead. Where am I, Luke Cage, man? Let's cook in. Play some Supergiant stuff. So the annoying thing here is that if I don't get this cage, they can put the werewolf in the Necrosha and probably beat me. But honestly, they might not.
Opponent snapped.
They're snapping this? Are they not afraid of cage? They just know I don't have it. I think I might leave, because usually this is really good in this matchup. I don't have cage currently in hand. It's 1 and 4 to get it. They had recent guys set up. I can't contest the left either. Their snap tells me that they're gonna contest the right lane. I'm only winning there if they don't contest it. 2-3, 2-2, and then back to 2-3. Okay. Professor Bob, probably Silver Sable. Display Ajax. Ajax are not Negasonic, basically. I'll be happy. Yes, really good. That's fine.
Snap.
Question will be Cage versus Negasonic next turn. I think it will be Cage so I can Supergiant mid and fight for Asgard that way. But Negasonic's good if we're expecting Werewolf. I tried Man Thing. I might Cage in case we get Man Thing too. I think we'll hold this for the Supergiant. But Bob's very good because you can play Bob at the end of the game and it's the best. Right. So Sable's fine for early game, but you'll feel a little bit if you're playing on the last turn. I don't care too much about winning Asgard, I just want to contest it. Although this will win it. I just want to contest it. Like, if they get it, the reality is if they get it, they can't do anything next turn, right? So I just don't want them to get it for free. Actually, do I even bother with this then? Just play over here. Just let them get it. Their hand is full. I kind of. They're gonna put a demon here, right? I'm just gonna play this over here for priority. I do want to draw into my Cosmo, but it's fine. EU-friendly time zone, yep. Early insurance day. Those words. Yeah, that's fine. You can have the cards. Get the bounce. Although I didn't get Cryo. Which does mean I have to do this. A little bit annoying. Could also just go SK. They don't have another demon. Yes, it's this actually. I want to put this mid. Ideally, we get Hazmat or Bob. The reality is they can't really do anything this turn, right? They have like Beast and like other stuff. I'm a little bit excited I didn't get something to play alongside it. I think Negasonic Cosmo doesn't do anything. I need to get the procs in order to pump the Ajax a little bit. They just gave up on that. Down by 1 point. Okay, how are we over here? Oh, we're fine. Okay. Sage is third. Tech card of choice.
Victory.
I couldn't imagine them going higher than like 6 points here, which would mean they'd be at 9. We're at 11. I was thinking more like Swan plus something. But they have Beast and one other card. Maybe Shadow King. So this doesn't hit anything, so I'm just gonna play it for Prio. Especially since we have Cosmo in hand. Beast and Ancient both don't do anything right now. Just here, hopefully we can get Cosmo over here. I'm just afraid of Falcon, I guess. I'm also afraid if they just play Werewolf this turn. I don't like not snapping this. I haven't seen my Cosmo yet, so we'll snap it. They play Werewolf, feels bad, but what can you do? Yeah, it feels bad. Feels a little bad. This here, I think. At least makes it difficult, because if they want to move the wolf, they don't get the value, right? I can't get in the cage, right? So I have to play the cage. I can take the Shadow King too, I guess. The thing over here now. I'm gonna lose to Ajax here is the issue, right? Actually, well, we have Echo here. I don't lose to Ajax there. I even need Falcon here because I'm playing Hazmat. I don't, right? Oh, but I can't play Falcon not there because of the Echo then, right? They can't move the werewolf and play the Ajax, right? Unless it's different locations. Just playing this. Did he not think I could play literally the Falcon they gave me? Oh, they're moving the werewolf there.
Victory.
Dude, Mad Thing is just like, he pulls so much weight in this deck. It's actually kind of absurd. I can't even really see the green crackle because of the effect on him, I realize.